Welcome to Speaking from Experience, a District 123 podcast hosted by Ayesha Hussain. With Toastmasters International spanning over 148 countries, with more than 270,000 members, the annual quest for excellence unfolds as more than 30,000 members compete for the top spot at the World Championship of Public Speaking. District 123 has been a launching pad for many of these Toastmasters determined to compete at the world stage. In this podcast, you'll have the pleasure of hearing from some of those accomplished speakers as they share their experiences and reveal what it took to achieve excellence in the world of public speaking. Get ready for insightful conversations with members from District 123 as they share with you their journey to greatness.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Speaking from Experience, the District 123 podcast. Normally you would see my guest in my spot, but today you get me, Tim Norton, as our guest host to interview our regular host, Ayesha Hussain. Now, Ayesha, for those of you who don't know, isn't just a podcast host. She is a very accomplished public speaker and coach, and she has a lot of wonderful stories to tell and a lot of knowledge to share. Ayesha, what was your journey to become a Toastmaster?
Where do I begin? Thank you, Tim. First, this feels so surreal to be sitting on the opposite chair. My journey to Toastmasters was very unique in its way, as in not because of public speaking. I mean, I've always wanted to be a speaker. I've practiced in front of a mirror ever since I can remember as a kid, but never pursued it. A friend called me during COVID time that, hey, we are chartering a new club. Do you want to join? And I was like, nah, I don't have time for that. And then she goes like, the charter members will have their name on the plaque as long as the club's there. Name on the plaque? Kind of forever? Yes, put me down. So that's how my journey began. But once I came in, I fell in love with the craft, I fell in love with the people, and I've been here since.
So now you're talking about the club. What brought you then to become part of the district itself? How did you get to become a member of the podcast team? What was your journey there?
I started my speaking, and when I did my icebreaker, I got very good reviews. And then I did my second actual speech, and the feedback by evaluator Ray Lim at that time had said that, have you considered international speech contest? And I was like, I didn't know such a thing exists. And naive as I was, a few months down we had humorous speech contest, and I thought that's what he was talking about, and I go, yeah, I'm going to be international speech contest winner, and apparently it was humorous speech. And trying to figure out my way in the dark. I had little help from my mentor Grant, but other than that, it was more trying to figure out in the dark and trying to, feel and touch and go. I couldn't find any concrete material to where I can go for guidance. And that's where I thought that we need to have these, because we have senior Toastmaster members and who are very giving, but sometimes it's limited to the club and only club benefits from their experience. So the idea of the podcast came from that, why not share the knowledge? It's, everything about social media, everything is online. Why limit it to the club? And that's where I had approached then District Director Leslie Benfield, and I said, we don't have a podcast as a district. We are doing so well, and we have amazing leaders, amazing hidden gems, and the knowledge, and if you see our prior guest, they bring a wealth of knowledge with them. So that's where the whole podcast team began, and you came on board, David came in, Ryan Roach leading us. It's been a wonderful journey.
It has.
And I just hope audience get the special nuggets that we share each month with them.
Well, I'm sure that our audience always appreciates the value of the guests that we have, the knowledge that they share, and the knowledge that you actually share. You mentioned mentorship.
Yes.
You've had mentors yourself,
Yes.
and now you've started to migrate into a coach yourself.
Yes.
What value do you see in somebody taking that extra bit of time? Because remembering that most of us are volunteers.
Yes.
Some of the more accomplished people are able to be make it a career, but still, as Toastmasters, a lot of times we start off from a not-for-profit or a volunteer basis. How do you find the willingness of others to mentor you has inspired you to mentor others?
I think I have been very lucky from the day I joined, because I, honest to God, got the best mentor who's out there, Grant Bouchard. Saw the time and the dedication he put in. Outside the Toastmasters Club meeting, it was, he was very professional about it, because I've had mentors where they say, oh, I'll coach you and I'll teach you, or call me at this time. He had a full drawn contract, as in what timings are suitable to me and what timings are suitable to him, and which made the journey so easy to follow and easy to learn. And inspired by him, I want to give back, because it's not just him. And then my current mentor is Craig Valentine, who was world champion 1999. I mean, he needs no introductions. And having moved on from one mentor to the others, and I've also coached with Verity Price, and learning from, and I've realized the more knowledge you have, the more humble and the more giving you are. For me, that has resonated so well. So that inspired me to learn more, so I can be as humble as my mentors and pass on that knowledge.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Now, I find personally, as a coach, that it's not just something you've learned as rote to become a coach. You expand your skills by your stories and your skills and learning experiences have happened to you over your lifespan. Are there any things in your life that you've really identified that you have such a passion for because you've lived them that makes you a stronger coach?
Yes, I've been chronically and clinically diagnosed with depression, and I'm not sure how many people read about it. It's one thing to hear it on social media, oh my God, I have anxiety, or oh, I'm suffering to depression. But to actually understand it and be in that dark space has helped me grow, not just as a coach, but as a person. And having experienced that darkness myself and been very blessed that I've had immense support, also because I asked. So anybody who's suffering in silence, it's okay to ask for help. When you fracture your leg, you ask and say, hey, I fractured my leg, can somebody drive me to the hospital? It's a similar thing. If you're suffering in mental health capacity, ask for help, and when you do get a lot of help. And having cured, I don't know if that's the right word, but having passed that hurdle, I understand how dark it is and how scary it can be. I want to pass on that help, and hopefully one day actually to be able to create a charity, because we in Canada, we are very blessed that we have our healthcare system, but there is no set healthcare for mental health. You fracture your leg, you get a free treatment. You fracture something in here, the therapists are like $250, $300, or even $500 per hour, and not everyone can afford it. So the goal is to have a charity that will provide free therapy for children whose families cannot afford it. Children are tomorrow, and I think they need to be preserved, especially with social media. The pressure, the anxiety is unimaginable. And sometimes it just goes under the radar and it goes unnoticed. And especially during COVID, I don't know if you've noticed, we've heard so much of suicides.
Yes.
And that's what motivated me to say that I was very skeptical, honestly, to be sharing this, that I am diagnosed with depression. I was told don't do it because your mental capacity would be judged, you'll be judged at workplace, or as you'll be judged as a mother when you say I need my me time to heal. But when I realized that, especially in COVID when suicides happened, I said I need to share my story and I need to bring it up so the more people can talk, the more awareness, and hopefully one day government will say, yay, we need more free healthcare in mental health as well.
Thank you for that. It is very important that more people be willing to share their stories. I've been involved with the arts for multiple decades. You find a lot of people. I mean, we all hear the story of Robin Williams, the famous actor, who everybody saw him being the most flamboyant, but inside he had a raging demon of depression that unfortunately ended his life. But the more of us that share, the more of a support system we have of each other to be able to, again, we don't cure depression, we overcome.
Yes.
We find ways to deal with it. It's that monkey on your back that you just, it's there and you just got to pet it in a different way.
We are masking it all the time.
Yes, that's right.
And sometimes you'll hear, I don't know if you're in the movies or in the newspaper, you'll hear, but they seemed so happy.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly the analogy with Robin Williams I was saying, because he came across so happy-go-lucky, but unfortunately it's not so such much the case.
Because of the society, we are pressured to mask it.
Yes.
So the more pain you're hiding, the more acting you're doing outside. And even when with ADHD and autism, you'll hear the term masking very often. And this is something I came across very new when I was researching this. That because you want to fit in, because you're afraid you will not be accepted, we tend to mask our real self. And I think that adds to depression, that adds to anxiety, because every time you're stepping out, you're like, oh my God, I need to hide myself. And as you said, pet the monkey in a different way. Oh, it didn't work this time? Okay, next time, try this way. Yeah. And it's always with us.
Now, you did raise a very interesting point there. You also have expressed an interest in being an advocate for autism awareness.
Yes.
I myself am somebody that, back when I was a kid, if it had been recognized by people beyond the idea of Dustin Hoffman as Rain Man, I would have been seen as autistic.
Okay.
I'm an adult autistic, just with different kinds of skills. What brought you into being an advocate for autism?
My son was diagnosed with autism. My first reaction, and I'm not very proud of it, and the reason I'm sharing it is because if any other mother feels the same, it's completely normal. My first reaction was denial. Nah, go to another doctor. No, there's delayed speech in my husband's family, so it's just that doctors don't know. Finally, when they said, okay, my next question was, why me? Because I have two very overachieving older kids. Comes the third one, nonverbal, autistic, not as academically skilled. So my first question, then after denial came as, why me? Or when we went out to the restaurants, he would put his leg up and sit on the chair or hide under the table. Embarrassment. I don't deserve this. Third stage was, he doesn't deserve me. He deserves a much better mother. I'm not financially equipped. I'm not mentally equipped. I'm not physically equipped to give him the life that he deserves. I am a horrible parent. Oh my God, I was in denial. Oh my God, I was embarrassed of my child. I am such a horrible mom. And that brought me down immensely. And I remember, and this is going to sound very philosophical, but I was praying one day and I was kind of having a conversation with God and say, he doesn't deserve me and he deserves so much better. And somewhere in my heart, I got the response as in, you think you're helping him, we sent to him to help you. And when that realization, and I'm not saying I talked to God, please no, in no way am I saying I am that at high power, no. It's just the battle I was having inside me, and from the other side of me that I got an answer that I started observing. And the minute that realization hit, it took me to next level. And I see how he has saved me from my depression, my anxiety, my OCD. So he has cured me in many, many ways. But you asked why I became more talking about is because I realized, just as with mental health, with autistic children, there is not as much support that they can use. Like, for example, we talk about gender equality, we talk about race equality. Nobody talks about neurodiversity equality because they have different needs. Like, he's sensitive to light, he's sensitive to noise. Is our school system equipped for that? When you ring that fire drill, is that child equipped to deal with that? Or when you have that bright lights in school or in the office, or you're having an event, are we helping them survive? And are we just forcing them to live a life of seclusion? So my goal is to hopingly create more awareness and have more neurodiversity equality at workplace, because they're brilliant. It's just they're not neurotypical, but they are brilliant. Like, when I see my 8-year-old, he is fiercely independent, fiercely observant, and very, very quick learner. So he just needs the right environment to thrive in. And that's what I advocate for. Not advocating, oh, you give them a special reserve, 2% needs to be done for the, no, I'm not asking any of that. What I'm saying is give them the right environment so they can reach their full potential.
Yeah, it's like the analogy of somebody's in a race and they look like they're lagging behind everybody else, but it's like, don't count them out yet because they can pull ahead. Children with autism, they have leap years in knowledge. My youngest son is also very heavily on the spectrum, but we've seen these evolutionary jumps in his skills, and I'm very thankful that we have people such as you that are willing to get out there and talk about the situation, because we do need more people willing to raise awareness and look for more support.
I resonate very well with that. And again, I don't know if Einstein really said it, but I read it on internet, saying that if you judge the ability of the fish by climbing a tree, it will think it's not qualified enough. So same thing goes with, the world was built around neurotypical people. So it's just not taking out the fish of the ocean, say run like a horse. It won't, it can't. But you put them in the water, the fish will outswim a horse any day. So it's just the same thing, giving them the right environment so they can thrive.
See, I personally, you've said that the world is built around neurotypical people. I personally believe it's actually contrary to that. I think your neurotypical people have been the ones who've just followed. I think people who had secondary awareness, autism, the ones that are, they're more forceful in their approach to things. They break barriers.
Yes.
Because it's our nature to do that. I think they're the ones who've actually driven society forward. And we just haven't had a word for it until the last couple of decades.
Yes.
So, because if you go back, Einstein, you've mentioned, everybody keeps saying, well, he was autistic. Well, I mean, that was decades and decades ago. We didn't have that
Diagnosis back then.
Exactly. You go back even further. People will say that about kings and queens hundreds of years ago. Again, we're just looking at some kind of evidence. Now we can actually look at it and say, how do they make the world better, and how can we learn from them to continue on that path, making sure that we all get along and drive innovation and society.
Because I think they challenge the regular norms. They will challenge. So for example, when, again, please don't quote me, Earth is flat. The first person who said the Earth is round was deemed crazy. If you go back and look, in my opinion, that person was autistic. So they challenge the regular norm. They don't take things as is. They challenge status quo, and I think that's a very beautiful trait about autistic people. And I think neurotypical people should learn from that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, you've mentioned again. We talked about the coaching.
Yes.
You're now on a pathway towards offering your services as a
Yes.
coach to people out there. What kind of coaching do you find you're the most passionate to lead people towards? Like what kind of coaching do you prefer to do?
I prefer coaching communication because I believe words are the most powerful tool anyone can have. You're always selling by your words, and I know people would say, no, as a kid, as a wife, or if you're not a salesman, you're not selling. Actually, you are. You're always selling a product or an idea. The better you communicate, the better your chances are to make that sale. When I'm trying to motivate my children to study better or to do their dishes or do the clean up the room, I'm trying to sell an idea. But, and again, I'm going to quote my mentor, Craig Valentine. He says, always sell the results, not the product. So that's why for me, art of communication is what I am most passionate about because it can change the trajectory, not just of one's life, but of the nation. Right communication, I mean, Hitler was able to pursue so much killings. Art of communication. And not a good example.
No, but it is one though. We have to look at it. You have to look at the dark and the light at the
But
same
that's
time.
what powerful communication can do. So what I bring extra along with teaching the communication is communicating with a conscious.
Yes.
And that's what I like to take that. That's where I want to coach with. I can coach leaders how to communicate to your team, motivate your team, inspire your team. I can coach parents how to motivate your children to follow the path that you believe that they will succeed in. So to answer your question, art of communication, but with a conscious.
Now, one thing we haven't yet touched on is one of your big strong suits has been competing
Yes.
on the international stage.
Yes.
And I was very, very pleased to be in person at the last conference where we saw you take second place.
Yes.
And wonderful speech. I know you're hard on yourself, as many Toastmasters are. What's your thoughts towards the next one? Are you running again?
Yes, most definitely. I am not giving up. I'll give you a little backstory the way my dad described me. I don't know if you've been to a race course ever. So my dad described me as the horse who always came last. But he added with that, the day she decides that she wants to win, there is no stopping her. So I'm not stopping till I get that trophy. But I want to add something. It's not about the trophy. It's about what I can do with that trophy.
Okay.
So for me, that trophy is a tool to be able to make a change at more grander level.
Demonstrating what you are capable of so you can spread the word to others.
Yes. To create more kindness, to create more acceptance, to promote more humanity than any religion or culture or race.
It's wonderful. It's a very lofty goal, but I know that if anybody I've ever met who could do it, I think you're certainly one of those. Now, our previous guest left a question for you, and as you know, as part of our system, we like having the next guest hear and answer the previous guest's question and then leave one for next. So here is our previous guest's question.
What about Toastmaster that motivates you to be a better leader?
Wow, that's an amazing question, Jacqueline. You've hit on the nail. Toastmasters has added so much in my own personal life. It's not just a club meeting anymore. It's become second family to me. So that's what motivates me about Toastmasters. It's become a family.
Excellent. Like a family. And I cannot at all disagree. I've been involved with clubs, and you look forward to seeing the people at the club on a regular basis, and you find ways to strengthen each other, just as we should in our own regular family situations.
I'd like to add to it, actually.
Please.
And the reason I said family is the end goal, but it reached there because of the camaraderie, the mentorship I received, and being able to choose a path where I feel I can make a difference now. Before that, I was, and I don't want to discredit that I was just a mother or I was just a finance manager, because you're never just. But it added a whole new meaning to my life. And I saw so much giving here that it made me a better person.
Wonderful.
And I think that's what Toastmasters can do to anyone.
Well said. Thank you so much. Now, how about you ask a question for our next guest?
Oh, I'm super excited. So my question to the next guest is, what one thing you do or you want to do that can make a difference, not just in your life, but people around you?
Wow. That's going to give some really good meat for our next guest to really get those gerbils in your head whirling and come up with something. Well, this has been an absolutely wonderful opportunity for me, who's usually behind the camera, sitting in this spot, and you've been a wonderful guest today. But you know what? Next time you see us, camera, Ayesha will be right back in this spot because she's the host. Well, from today, this is me signing off, Tim Norton, and we will see you again next time.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
When I was a young child, my mama told me, son, don't ever let them make you afraid and never let them see you run. So the